In today's episode, we're going to be reacting to some of the craziest and creepiest videos I found on TikTok. Let's get into it.
Alright folks, so here we are, straight from the TikTok app. This is no editing, no nothing. My dog and I come out here every night for a walk, and I have this insane spotlight. What the hell is that? Now get over here right now. Hey! Now! What the fuck is that? Niall, come here! Jesus Christ, now I got the chills. What the fuck? Niall! Come here, right now. Hey! Niall, get over here, right now. Fucking creepy. I mean, seriously. You tell me what is all this fog? It looks like snow, it's how deep it is. Or it's, you know, thick.
I kinda seen it in the background. It kinda looked like it went like that a little bit, but I'm not sure if that was just lights in the distance and his movement made it look like something looking through the trees. But nonetheless, it's a really creepy atmosphere.
Every page tells a story, but no one knows what it's saying. In the early 20th century, a rare book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich stumbled upon an ancient manuscript in Italy. At first glance, it seemed like just another relic, but as he flipped through its pages, he realized this was no ordinary book. The manuscript was filled with strange, otherworldly illustrations of bizarre plants, astronomical diagrams, and mysterious recipes, all accompanied by a script no one could decipher. Carbon dating revealed it was created in the early 15th century, but its origins and purpose remain unknown. Some believe it contains the secrets of alchemy or ancient medicine. Others think it's a medieval hoax designed to trick scholars of the time. But there are those who wonder if it might be something far stranger, a message from another world. For over a century, experts from every field, cryptographers, linguists, even code breakers, have tried to decode its text. They've analyzed its patterns, studied its symbols, and even matched its illustrations to real plants. But every attempt to crack the Voynich manuscript has failed. Stored at Yale University, it remains one of history's greatest enigmas. Is it an ancient language no one remembers, a coded warning, or was it created to confuse anyone who dared to read it?
I wish that we would find more things out in the world like this that we just can't decipher. I think that that's pretty neat. I mean, that's just one object that we can't relate it to anything else in the world. That's pretty cool stuff.
The following video is from a man who was recording his dog that was going absolutely crazy, growling and barking at his ceiling. He said he had been doing this for over 15 minutes when he started recording him. But what he doesn't realize is he captured something on film. What looks like a ghostly orb shoots across the ceiling, and his dog sees it. Take a look at this and tell me what you think.
Freaking me out for about 15 minutes. I know, dude. What's going on? What are you seeing? And something's been spooking him. He's jumping around. This dude.
Definitely seen it. I definitely seen a little shadow at the very top. It's a shame that the guy that was recording didn't see that during recording, because I would have been like fixated up there. It's like, okay, I want to see if I can capture another one. But it also makes me kind of wonder, maybe it was a ceiling fan and it was just a shadow of the blades going around, possibly. He did not really stay focused on the ceiling for very long, so it's really hard to tell. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below though.
Facebook and Meta have confirmed that they plan to add tons of AI-generated users to Instagram and Facebook. These users will have AI-generated bios, profile pics, and can share or create content and can send you DMs. So the dead internet theory, which is that most of the people that you interact with and most of the things that you see on the internet were created by bots or non-humans, is now one step closer to reality, and Facebook and Instagram, instead of being ashamed of this, instead of being ashamed of flooding their platforms with AI-generated spam, they're actually very proud of this. They seem to think that AI-generated users and profiles are a benefit, something that their shareholders are going to love, something that's going to drive up value on their social platform, even though that's not really, that wouldn't be a social part of social media if you're not interacting with a human. They've already done this. They've showed animated AI chatbots modeled after alter egos of Snoop Dogg, Mr. Beast, Paris Hilton, and Kendall Jenner. They've been licensing voices and likenesses of famous people in order to endear younger demographics to use Facebook and Instagram. But what's wild is that these AI people can send messages, but the Zuckerbot isn't done. He is integrating these next steps into AI creations that Facebook and Instagram actually calls users in and of themselves. And the hope is these semi-independent custom avatars will prove more engaging to young people who are crucial to the survival of Meta's flagship social networks. As Meta says, we expect these AIs to actually over time exist on our platforms, kind of in the same way that accounts do. They'll have bios, profile pictures, be able to generate content on the platform, and that's where we see all of this going. And this is rolling out very, very, very soon. They don't care about any potential downsides. They think this is a better way to boost engagement on the platform than just making a better platform. So I can talk to AI Snoop Dogg all day while he chats with 5,000 other people and can DM simultaneously. But this kind of creeps me out because I believe this is going to make catfishing a million times easier. I don't believe for a second that this isn't already happening, not only on the Meta platform, but on most social platforms. And it's going to be brutal on old people, young people, anybody that can't suss out the AI. And it's going to make you feel popular and good and like you're more engaged and connected than you really are when you're really just talking to Meta's supercomputer and being soullessly sucked into the black hole of the ecosystem that they have there. God, I hate this so much.
Man, this is weird to me. I'm trying to think of what the purpose is exactly. Now, in a video game, or even in a VR video game, I could kind of understand AI being in that as an NPC. That would be kind of awesome, especially if they acted kind of like a player in a way. I think that that would be really amazing for video games, especially if you can talk to them verbally. But I'm not quite sure what the point of having Facebook AI accounts would do for anyone. I mean, other than like general purpose helper AI, ones that can answer questions and things, but I really don't understand why we would want to have AI fake accounts. Leave a comment down below on your thoughts on this one, because I just can't wrap my head around why. The only thing that I can kind of think is maybe marketing manipulation, but then again, that's not really fair, or should that even count? For example, what if I had a Facebook or Instagram account and there was 10,000 AI accounts on there? Could I ask those AI accounts to come and watch my video, for example, and that just gives my video 10,000 views? But those wouldn't be real views, you know? I don't know about this. I feel like people are going to be really manipulating this if that's the case.
It's honestly just getting really difficult for me to make videos because I'm tired of feeling like I'm getting nowhere. I'm tired of putting myself out there in a way that requires time and effort out of me just to see nothing returned. And I've been doing this for 4 years now, with no expectations and just hopes of finding the kinds of people that are going to help me create the version of this world that we deserve. One where freedom and equality are the tenets that we live by, instead of just saying that and going along with the rest of whatever capitalism deems fit. It is genuinely obnoxious to listen to people justify their continued participation in this system, knowing full well that the more they participate, the harder the system is going to make it for them to find a way out of it. Because you are literally relying on them for your well-being. And they are the entity oppressing you. If you don't find a way out from underneath the boot of it all, you are going to sink with the ship. And people hate it when I say that, and they hate it when I say that bulk buying groups are not the fucking solution, because you are still spending money. You're still allowing money to circulate. It is the lifeblood of the system oppressing you. They control the value of your dollar.
Hey, all I can say to that guy is, if you want your word getting spread out there, don't give up on posting videos. Giving up is how they keep that boot on you.
All the available content now, away from mainstream, is something to admire. It's something you could never really put together unless you saw everything that everybody was doing in their own area. Is there any possible way that the narrative is correct? Absolutely not. This stuff is everywhere, and just looking at this, you would say there's no possible way anybody would logically build it like this. It's all across the realm. Everywhere has become a complete ruin. And just because we're taught in different eras of ruins, we've always known that. So it shouldn't be shocking that maybe there was a one time, or even a couple times, doesn't really matter, of a huge cataclysm. The only thing that means is what we've been taught in different eras and years is just fiction. They put one thing into hundreds of different narratives. If you really look closely at this stuff, the narratives don't make sense. None of this should look like this through the years, or whatever they're telling us through our indoctrinated school system, school books.
This is a futuristic painting, right? Wrong. These paintings are from the 1920s, and they are said to have secret messages for the future. If this is the first that you're hearing about this, stay tuned. It's very interesting. Okay, so there was a group in the 1920s called the Transcendental Painting Group. This group, which there's a book about, you can get it online, consisted of a few different members. We had Agnes Pelton, who created artwork like this, and don't worry, I'm getting to the one that tells the future. And this, my personal favorite. These are extremely metaphysical, once again feel very futuristic. The people in this group said that they were working with higher intelligent beings and channeling the art. This is another one. I mean, what? They would have been my best friends. And then we have Hilma af Klint, which is the subject of this video. Hilma rarely exhibited her paintings. She kept them private and said that they should not be shown until 20 years after her death. Talk about no ego. I don't think I could do that with my book. Ultimately, her work was all but unseen until 1986. I'm gonna show you. Now they're getting attention. So they're said to hold secret messages. These are some of my favorites. I personally think she's painting the language of plasma. It is basically the world beyond form, the formless. So she was an offshoot group called DeFem. They believe they're communicating with higher beings of intelligence called High Masters. So cool. They would enter trance states using a device called a psychograph, where they recorded psychic transmissions. They did automatic writing and drawing. I'm about to show you them. And they started to see a couple things that kept popping up in their art. A lot of florals, a lot of spirals. I think they were all shapes of how the universe is made. This is one of their automatic drawings. I swear their paintings are much better. Here's some of the paintings, a lot of spirals, crosses, hearts. Another one of their automatic drawings with the spiral and the flower of life, anyone? To her, the snail symbolized the universe, spiritual evolution, and the obstacles on humanity's way toward it. A tiny snail shell equaled the entire universe, and it was a reflection of a spiritual idea of the essential unity of all elements. Plasma. The smallest element of the universe was a direct reflection of the largest element in it, the universe itself. Blood plasma. There was another really cool painting. As above, so below. She painted a lot of Latin words together that symbolize certain things. Feel free to look at this more. That is what is here. And then the religious imagery came from something called theosophy. I could do a whole video on that, but basically it's a philosophical belief system that claimed the essential unity of all religions. They love Buddhism, Hinduism. If you look into theosophy, it's actually extremely interesting. There's plenty of books on it. They also dived into color symbolism, which has to do with a lot of the paintings. You can look this all up. It's a really good book. And that's Agnes Pelton's painting on the front. Either way, their artwork was beautiful. Special shout out to, I think, the guy that ran the group, Raymond Johnson. And can we mention the group is very female forward, a lot of women. Love his paintings, his aunt, very cool symbolism there. Talk about that another time. But if you like metaphysics, spirituality, art, you'll love looking at these paintings. Maybe you will be able to pick up the spiritual messages in them. All you have to do is gaze at it, let it speak to you, and you just might see the secrets of the universe.
That's actually really cool. This is the first time, I'm certain that this is the first time that I've ever heard this story. And I have to say, I really, really like this artwork right here. I think that's really cool. And this one right here has to be my favorite one that I've seen. This one's awesome. Let me know in the comments, have any of you heard about this before? Like I said, this was a new one to me.
This is what the Simpsons predicted for 2025. So the Simpsons are predicting that 2025 is going to be the most chaotic year in all history. By the way, this is just an episode in the Simpsons that's also for entertainment purposes. So in this episode, the Simpsons face a nationwide blackout, and rumors of technology interference begin to surface all over the town. And that's when it gets much crazier because drones are involved. And we've all heard about the drones surfacing all over recently. In this episode, the drones start dropping flyers. And once Springfield reads what the flyers are saying, they begin to panic. Lastly, a mysterious figure begins to surface in the sky. And this figure gives its last warning, which is what's on the flyers. And this message says you only have a few hours left. And this is when the episode ends. The question is, we all know this is just an episode of The Simpsons. But we've also known The Simpsons to predict a lot of things in real life. I mean, haven't we? The question is this fully just an episode as a cartoon? Or can this be maybe some truth to what's really going on? Or what's gonna happen in 2025.
I haven't seen that episode.
What do you guys think?
So listen, did you float down the stairs as a child? Because if you did, I want to know about it. I just did an interview with the wonderful Andy Crofts from the podcast The Terror Cellar. Do go check it out if that is your thing. And he was telling me about when he was a kid, he had this dream where he floated down the stairs, and in the dream he could physically see the ground beneath him. He was floating down the stairs and he woke up on the sofa. And of course, I get it, right? He could have been sleepwalking, it's just a dream, blah, 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 right? Fine. Logic, we get it. Now, I personally have never experienced this, but I get stories on the podcast all the time from people who are like, I fell from a great height and I somehow floated to the ground. Or that thing where kids are like, I jumped from the top of the stairs to the bottom of the stairs for some reason because I'm a kid and I didn't use my brains. And I floated to the bottom. Or people who are like, I just remember floating short distances when I was a kid. And there are threads galore about this on online forums. For example, this one, which came from Mumsnet, which is basically about a person whose 17-year-old came to them and said, do you have memories of floating down the stairs when you were a child? And the poster was like, shit, yes, I do have memories of floating down the stairs as a child. And then all the comments are like, oh, I remember this too. If you have experienced this, I want to hear about it because I'm fascinated. Have you fallen from a great height and floated to the ground unscathed? Did you do that thing where you jumped down the stairs and floated? Did you just float around in general? I feel like I'm missing out because I did not experience this as a child.
Me personally, I definitely jumped down the stairs as a kid, but I sure did not float. I fell, but I kept doing it. It was fun for me for some reason. But let me know in the comments, did any of you jump down the stairs and float, or just float in general? Dang. It is interesting on how so many people do look alike, especially celebrities, and it's really funny when they show them compared to them in the past or who they could have been in the past. A fun little theory or conspiracy theory of mine is, what if they are actually cloned multiple times over? Like, what if all of these celebrities that we know today, some of them have multiple clones of themselves from many decades, from kids to old people and in between? That's why there's multiple celebrities that kind of look alike, or a lot of celebrities look alike in general. It's because they've been doing this for a very, very long time. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. Just a fun little theory. Wow. That's cool. But how deep of water are we talking about? That poor little fish. Okay, so that's like a lake. Man, that's actually really neat. I like that. Wow. Ugh. Oh no. That just looks like someone dropped their pizza on the ground and just picked it back up and put it in the box. Or they're just playing a joke on this video. I don't know, but I would not eat that.
You seen everybody freaking out about all this fog going around the country? Yeah, it's classic TikTok, just scaring people with disinformation and people not knowing what they're talking about. Oh, okay. Well, do you care to give an explanation? Yeah, man, I mean, all fog is an indication of cooling temperatures around the ground. That's it. And as we all know, we've had a pretty warm winter, as usual. Hell, here in South Carolina, we haven't had a cold winter in probably 15 years. It's been in the upper 60s all week. And now we have fog rolling around the East Coast and other parts of the country, which again, isn't strange. We've had warm temperatures, now we have a huge cold front coming in the next 5 to 8 days. So it's an indication of cooler temperatures, and that's about it. So you don't think it has anything to do with those drones going around spraying stuff? You know, most of those videos are simply just from farmers, and they were cut and edited to make it look nefarious. Farmers use drones for pesticide spraying. Do you know how many drones would have to be in the air to cause something like this? And before you get on the topic of cloud seeding, I know that we've done it before and we're still doing it in certain parts of the world, but we're not doing it here currently. But don't you find it kind of strange that a bunch of people are getting sick now, and this fog is popping up? No, I mean, I already explained the fog, and it's literally just fog from a cool weather system coming in after we've had extremely warm temperatures. But as far as everybody getting sick, man, people get sick from viruses, especially around this time of year when everybody's traveling and they're getting exposed to certain things that typically they wouldn't. They're outside for once. Everybody's usually stuck on TikTok in their house. That's probably also why it's such a big boom in seeing the fog. Congratulations, you saw weather patterns. So basically you're just insinuating that everybody's actually stepped outside for once this year and actually saw weather, and they got sick because they stepped outside and they were around other people. It makes sense. Yeah, man, and I've always said it. I love TikTok. I'm a creator on TikTok. I'm trying to make some money on TikTok myself, but so many people put fake videos out there because it causes panic and it causes engagement, which keeps people on the app. It's all the algorithm's going to push. So before everybody freaks out, try stepping outside for a minute and realizing it's really not that scary.
I can kind of agree with this to an extent, but something about the weather does seem a little different. Not just the high temperatures, but even dealing with these warmer winters. We still never really have this fog or mist that we are currently having. Literally just the other day, it was 65 degrees out around 11 p.m. Amazing looking outside. It was a really awesome day. Not even 20 minutes later, I go back outside and fog is everywhere. That doesn't happen like that around here. I've never experienced that, and I'm outside a lot. I don't know, it just seems a little odd to me. And I find the last little bit of what he said kind of funny about him being a TikTok creator and how he gets screwed over because everyone's spreading false information. And that's true to an extent, but the crazy thing is TikTok does push out that information, but also tries to ban people that push that information out. It's a weird double-edged sword, I guess.
I think all our society is run by insane people for insane objectives. You know, and I think that's what I sussed when I was 16 and 12 way down the line.
Exactly the same.
I think we're being run by maniacs for maniacal ends, you know.
Correct. What do you think? I think no one made a bigger impact. And I know this personally from my grandfather announcing his death. John Lennon, imagine all the people.
My model of business is the Beatles. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, he was a huge Beatles fan. He named his company Apple, the same name the Beatles gave theirs.
Our own anyway now. You never can be anything else but the Beatles. We are the Beatles, and that's what we are. We're also Apple as well, see. They're like Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Brown.
But who are dissatisfied because the current state didn't live up to their ideals. Without death, there would be very little progress.
I mean, they do have some similarities, but it might be a bit of a stretch. Not to mention John Lennon is 15 years older, I believe, than Steve Jobs, which doesn't mean anything and also could be an alias for Steve Jobs. Let me know in the comments on what you guys think.
So this was already here, but it looks like they're trying to clear up some dirt. It's just, I don't know. I'm not a detective or anything, but it seems kind of
Meet the man who just made almost $1 million in only 2 weeks. Sort of, we'll get to that. So this mastermind right behind me got the whole entire internet to swarm together, mass follow, and unfollow. You may know him as Bex Bolt. But what you may not know is the algorithm, what it favors, and what it pays for. So TikTok will pay their creators, and the amount they make all depends on what they're doing and how entertaining it is. Now, averaged out, you might see $1,000 per million views. So let's look at this really quick. I didn't even go all the way back, but so far for this page and all these views, it'd be about 387,000. This page would be 229,000. On this page, we see 112,000. Right here we got 66,000. And right here, this doesn't count everything, by the way, it's 35,000. Now what I didn't tell you is your video has to be 1 minute long at least to be eligible for the Creator Rewards program. And right now, as we speak, all the premature comments are scurrying to delete their comments. But it's very possible he's still in the old Creator Reward program. The one where the videos don't need to be 1 minute long. Now, if that's true, he still could have seen $250,000 to $400,000 in only 2 weeks. Plus a hefty 3 million followers. And this all happened before New Year. Which means in 1 month the tax man's coming for 6 figures.
Man, that is crazy. I could only dream of possibly making that much money in my life, let alone on just a few videos. And I've never heard of this guy until just now. Man, the things that I would do if I had that kind of money coming in, I would definitely invest it on myself as far as making sure that I have some kind of passive income always coming in. But once I knew that I was situated very well and I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, man, I'm helping out some people, that's for sure. That's crazy amount of money. Let me know in the comments, what would you do if you were making 300 and some thousand dollars a month? They knew how to dress to impress. Jeez. That's like fireworks going off. Now, I'm not a battery expert or anything, but that really did not look like a lithium explosion. That kind of looked like fireworks. Actually, I might need to watch that again. Yeah, those gotta be fireworks. That's crazy. I definitely hope nobody was injured, that's for sure, because that looked pretty dangerous. Man, that's pretty crazy. So this is taking place in China, and just imagine if you were some kind of tribe on an island that had no real connections to the outside world, and you seen something like this in the distance, you're going to think gods are coming.
There is something dark in the Appalachian Mountains. There's actually like a set of rules that the locals set up that you have to follow if you go hiking in there. The first rule is to never be in the woods from dusk till dawn. And these rules are like very strictly enforced by the locals. Like it's no joke. The second rule is to never leave the marked trail because it is marked off for a reason. So many people get lost or go missing in the Appalachian Mountains. People have seen weird things. There's so much folklore. And the third rule is if you hear voices close to you, they're far away. But if the voices are far away, then they're near. And if the voices are saying your name, do not answer them. And I'm showing you all of these like real photos people have actually taken. The fourth rule is do not whistle or sing in the woods. And the fifth rule is never look too hard in the trees because you might not like what you see. And there are so many people in the area that will like talk about this online. They'll be like, do not mess around. Do not stray from the path. This is not a joke. This is not something you should mess with. Like, there is some dark force in that woods. There's some weird energy. And these people are like, we don't say that to scare you. This is real. This is real stuff. And we want you to stay safe, and that's why we talk about it so much. And they said there's like things and spirits in the woods that you don't want to interact with. And I've also heard people talk about how they've been on the trail and there are really sketchy people on that trail, and that you should never go there alone. Like, this mountain range is older than the dinosaurs. Let me know if you want more information and come over here for more content.
That's some pretty spooky superstitions. Now, I can definitely understand not looking into the trees too hard. I know hunting in tree stands sometimes when it's early morning and you're looking out there into the distance, them trees can really play with your eyes. Let me know in the comments though, is there anyone from the Appalachian area that knows about these rumors? Is it true?
There's a lot of old accounts of conquistadors and explorers in early America where they all encountered some sort of giant. The conquistador Hernando de Soto, he led this expedition with 600 Spanish soldiers. Alabama, this is where they landed.
Okay.
And they're sitting in this village one day and they hear this rustling from the woods, and out comes this, they said, this giant Native American man. And the quote was, "Seeing him, we paused, dumbed with amazement, a great limbed giant. The heads of our tallest men reached only his breast." And this Native American, his name was, he went by Black Panther, Wakanda.
Forever.
But he was the son of Chief Tuscaloosa. He told the Spanish, "My father would like to meet you." Like, yeah, sure. And then they came across this village. It was completely surrounded by this giant wood wall. They go in, and in the middle of this village is this giant mound. And on this mound is sitting Chief Tuscaloosa. And he's surrounded by 100 Native American men that were guarding him. They said when he stood up, he was 2 feet taller than his son. All the Spanish, they're afraid. They're just like, oh, we've never seen a man.
Is it Amsterdam? They have the red light district.
I thought that's
Amsterdam,
only,
right?
yeah, that's Amsterdam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
They have red light districts everywhere, but you know what I call it? The red light.
Why?
So they have red lights at the stores, But red light specifically is used not just by the red light district. And if you guys don't know what that means, it's like, you just Google it.
Yeah.
But red light is also used in the military.
For what?
At nighttime in vehicles. Now check this out. When I go to sleep at night, I turn my red light. Guess why?
What the fuck?
Guess why?
Why?
Because red light, if you use red light at nighttime, you don't lose your night vision.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait. So,
If these lights were red,
yeah.
and then we go into complete darkness,
Okay.
you would still be able to see.
So you would still be, oh,
Yeah.
that's sick.
You didn't know that, huh?
No, I didn't.
It's crazy.
Damn.
That's the literal military uses it in all of their tanks and in the submarines. That's when you see a movie, the submarine has red light.
Red light.
Mhm.
Infrared.
Because it's darkness. Because
Yeah.
if you go from the tank, which is darkness, into the literally the outside at nighttime, you want to still be able to see your enemy.
Yeah.
Daniel, I have a question regarding your theory on Christianity just being post-apocalyptic Norse mythology. Can you explain it one more time for me?
In Norse mythology, the gods gained their youth, vigor, and near immortality from the apples of Idun. Once, Loki orchestrated the abduction of Idun, and because of that, the gods grew weak and enfeebled because they didn't have access to the apples anymore.
Eden, yes, just like the garden. But this is Eden's orchard where she gets the apple, and this is how we got the apple from the tree of life and, possibly, the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
What if Loki had actually only pretended to rectify this issue, let the other gods kick the bucket, and rewrote history to pretend that he had been the one and only god?
Interesting theory, Daniel. So what you're saying is Loki, aka Satan, had to get rid of the angels, the gods, the small g's that he brought down from him with the heavens, the 1/3 of the heavenly angels, so that he could rewrite history according to his own story. That would just be so crazy. Let me ask you, who is the smartest person in the entire universe? It would be God, right? But then who would be the second smartest? That would be his second in command, who was the morning star, Lucifer. Do you think that if he came down here with the sole purpose as becoming a god, that he would not try and trick every single person into believing a book written by man to thinking that they were worshiping the one true God, but in reality, they would be worshiping him? Not to mention the peculiarities of where Jesus calls himself the morning star. Hold on, let me quote the verse. And in Revelation 22:16, he says, I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify to you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. The morning star? Who's the morning star? Isn't that Lucifer? How could the Lord be telling us that he is the bright and morning star? Could it be that Loki actually succeeded in rewriting history and fooling the world into worshipping the morning star? And could this be why Jesus had to reincarnate to come back, give the middle finger to the church, and tell everybody that you are the gods, and that the Christ is within you, to try and reconcile all the lies that Loki has spread across the lands? Shit, if I was trying to fool everybody into worshiping me as Jesus, that's exactly how I do it. Loki, I see the horns. You're not hiding from me.
I also, at one point in time, used to think, what if Satan, or whatever this evil entity is the creator of religion? But then I got to really thinking about it. Why would this thing or entity create something for us to second guess the things? Like, okay, he gives us a book that says there's a God, he was created under God. Why would someone that's wanting control over the world make people believe that he's God, but also give the idea to people that Satan exists? And this is something I can ramble on about quite a bit, so I try to keep it brief. I just cannot see some kind of force creating something that would have people second guess the creation. And I know there's a lot of people out there that say, well, you know, the truth has to be in plain sight for it to work. But in that realm, that same text is created by the same people that created like the Bible and things, you know? Or at least the theory of it, if we're talking about like a religious aspect. But again, like I said, I could ramble on about this for a while. I could probably make a video just talking about this topic and it'd be like a 30 to 40 minute long video. Definitely don't want to do that here. I've probably taken up enough of your time. But leave me a comment down below letting me know your thoughts, your theories about this.
What an insane start of the year. Like, what is even happening? Yes, this just happened, but let me go back first and then we'll come back over here. That's a Tesla, by the way. In front of the T-Tower, get it? And a mass casualty first thing into the new year. Like I said, we'll come right back. So last night was extremely ominous. We had lightning hit the Eiffel Tower. But that's not all. I want to play this in slow motion. Lightning also hit the Capitol. And it didn't look like just any lightning. It looked like purposeful lightning. And I looked it up, it's pretty rare it hits the Capitol. But on New Year's Eve, so I go to bed surely thinking it was a warning. Then I wake up to a mass casualty event, a terrible one, in New Orleans. And the guy had Texas plates. Allegedly this dude. Allegedly seen also making videos for YouTube. Could be wrong, but same name, same face.
According to federal sources, the suspect drove a truck with that Texas license plate. Rick Jenkins.
And then not even but a few hours later, not even, we have a Tesla Cybertruck explode right in front of this dude's tower. And here's a different view of it from a different building. So I don't know what to think. I don't think it's good though. A lot of things are going on, and a lot of them are happening at the same exact time. All of them.
Well, for the families and everyone that went through that incident, I'm really sorry that that happened, and I hope the best for everyone out there that has to go through that. Be careful out there, there's some really crazy people.
Phones down now, please, folks. You are not allowed to film the show during an animatronic malfunction. We are going to have to complete the cycle of this show despite the malfunction, so if you could please just sit tight, keep your hands in your laps, and keep phones.
Charles Lindbergh is about to fly a single-wing airplane. The carousel of progress was
Again, for the man in the black jacket, please stop recording.
Oh, that's right, folks. Now Sarah has time for other things.
Again, I want to thank most of you folks for following directions and sitting tight during this issue. We're going to have some lightning lane vouchers available for your patients. However, for the man in the black jacket, can you please find a cast member after the performance? Thank you.
No, that guy in the black jacket, I'm assuming is the guy holding the phone that we're seeing. He did us a service. He didn't seem to be fazed by that guy asking him to put that phone away at all. I mean, it's just a little malfunction at the ride. I'm sure they don't want to ruin the magic of Disney, but it's still fun.
People are freaking out after just realizing that bananas could be killing you. I'm sure every single one of you knows what a banana is. You may even be eating one right now. But what people didn't realize is that bananas are actually radioactive and could be pretty damn bad for you. So first of all, when you go into a supermarket and buy fruit, it's not fresh, it's been there for months, sometimes even years. The way that it doesn't rot is because it's essentially coated in like a wax that obviously isn't good for you either. Now, bananas contain a small amount of radioactive potassium, which, yeah, isn't great. However, this is only such a small amount that just having them in the house obviously isn't gonna harm you. But if you were to eat a lot of them at once, then it would be pretty bad. If you were to consume around 420 at once, that could actually cause your heart to stop. Of course, eating too much of anything or even drinking too much water can unalive you because it just fills your body up. But because of the radiation, if you were to have a massive amount of them, it could actually kill you, which is crazy. Now, this is common knowledge. People have known this for a long time, but for some reason on social media, people are just finding out about it now.
Breaking news, we've got video of an unknown creature ripping apart a tree in South Carolina. But before I show the video, here's what we know so far. So this footage is originally from 2022 from a YouTube channel called JeffX1414. He stated in his description that it was around 11 p.m. Anyway, this guy has a flashlight and is trying to see what's going on in the trees after hearing all of this commotion. It's total chaos. And there's clearly some kind of animal or creature high up in the trees tearing out huge branches. Check it out.
I hope you can hear this. It sounds like gorillas fighting in the tree. They're breaking limbs bigger around than me. What in God's name is it? It's bigger than me, whatever it is, because it's breaking limbs off that it would take me 2 minutes to saw. Look, that's bigger than me. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. What in Jesus' name is doing this?
Now, a lot of people are speculating that it could be something like a Bigfoot, or an alien, or even a pale crawler. Some even think that you can see a face or a hand in some of the frames in this video. But the fact that you can't really make out any kind of figure makes me think it's something else. In fact, it reminds me a lot about invisible terrestrial entities, otherwise known as a glimmerman, which many people, like hunters and hikers, have claimed to have encountered deep in the woods, where it looks like there's this humanoid figure out there that's cloaked, and it has this kind of effect on it, like in the Predator movies. But the debunkers are saying that this is probably a hoax, like it's the guy's friends that were in the tree pulling branches down, or that it was a known animal like a bobcat or something like that.
I've seen this video floating around a couple of times on TikTok. I really don't know what it could be if it's not a hoax. And the other thing, I really don't see any big limbs falling. Now that one limb that was falling, I would have liked for him to have the flashlight up on the limb when it was falling so that we could have seen what it was. That's one of the main reasons why I might be leaning towards it. This is a hoax. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end today's video. As always, if you enjoyed any of the clips that we watched, links are in the description down below. And with that being said, have a good day.